A variety of ancient higher learning institutions were developed in many cultures to provide institutional frameworks for scholarly activities. These ancient centers were sponsored and overseen by courts, by religious institutions, which sponsored cathedral schools, monastic schools, and madrasas, by scientific institutions, such as museums, hospitals, and observatories, and by individual scholars. They are to be distinguished from the Western-style university, which is an autonomous organization of scholars that originated in medieval Europe, and was adopted in other world regions since the onset of modern times. Europe and Near East. Hellenism. The Platonic Academy, founded California, 387 BC in Athens, Greece, by the philosopher Plato, lasted 916 years with interruptions. It was emulated during the Renaissance by the Florentine Platonic Academy, whose members saw themselves as following Plato's tradition. Around 335 BC, Plato's successor Aristotle founded the Peripatetic School, the students of which met at the Lyceum Gymnasium in Athens. The school ceased in 86 BC during the famine, siege and sacking of Athens by Sulla. During the Hellenistic period, the Musaeum in Alexandria became the leading research institute for science and technology, from which many Greek innovations sprang. The engineer Ctesibius may have been its first head. It was suppressed and burned between AD 216 and 272, and the library was destroyed between 272 and 391. The reputation of these Greek institutions was such that at least 4 central modern educational terms derive from them: the Academy, the Lyceum, the Gymnasium, and the Museum. Christian Europe. The Pandadactyrion of Constantinople, founded as an institution of higher learning in 425, educated graduates to take on posts of authority in the imperial service or within the church. It was reorganized as a corporation of students in 849 by the regent Bardas of Emperor Michael III. Is considered by some to be the earliest institution of higher learning, with some of the characteristics we associate today with a university. If a university is defined as an institution of higher learning, then it is preceded by several others, including the academy that it was founded to compete with and eventually replaced. If the original meaning of the word is considered a corporation of students, then this could be the first example of such an institution. The Preslav Literary School and Ohrid Literary School were the two major literary schools of the First Bulgarian Empire. In Western Europe during the early Middle Ages, bishops sponsored cathedral schools and monasteries sponsored monastic schools, chiefly dedicated to the education of clergy. The earliest evidence of a European episcopal school is that established in Visigothic Spain at the Second Council of Toledo in 527. These early episcopal schools, with a focus on an apprenticeship in religious learning under a scholarly bishop, have been identified in Spain and in about 20 towns in Gaul during the 6th and 7th centuries. In addition to these episcopal schools, there were monastic schools which educated monks and nuns, as well as future bishops, at a more advanced level. Around the turn of the 12th and 13th centuries, some of them developed into autonomous universities. A notable example is when the University of Paris grew out of the schools associated with the Cathedral of Notre Dame, the Monastery of Sainte Genevieve, and the Abbey of St. Victor. Indian subcontinent. The schools at Nalanda, Pushpagiri, Takshashila, and Vikramshila were some of the primary institutions of higher learning in ancient India. Pushpagiri. The school in Pushpagiri was established in the 3rd century AD as present Odisha, India. As of 2007, the ruins of this Mathavihara had not yet been fully excavated. Consequently, much of the Mathavihara's history remains unknown. Of the three Mahavihara campuses, Lalitgiri in the district of Cuttack is the oldest. Iconographic analysis indicates that Lalitgiri had already been established during the Shunga period of the 2nd century BC, making it one of the oldest Buddhist establishments in the world. The Chinese traveller Xuanzang, who visited it in AD 639, as Puvagiri Mahavihara, as well as in medieval Tibetan texts. However, unlike Takshila and Nalanda, the ruins of Pushpagiri were not discovered until 1995, when a lecturer from a local college first stumbled upon the site. The task of excavating Pushpagiri's ruins, stretching over 58 hectares of land, was undertaken by the Odisha Institute of Maritime and Southeast Asian Studies between 1996 and 2006. It is now being carried out by the Archaeological Survey of India. The Nagarjunakonda inscriptions also mention about this learning center. Nalanda was established in the 5th century AD in Bihar, India, and survived until circa 1200 AD. It was devoted to Buddhist studies, but it also trained students in fine arts, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, politics, and the art of war. The center had 8 separate compounds, 10 temples, meditation halls, classrooms, lakes and parks. It had a 9-story library where monks meticulously copied books and documents so that individual scholars could have their own collections. It had dormitories for students, perhaps the first for an educational institution, housing 10,000 students in the school's heyday and providing accommodation for 2,000 professors. Nalanda attracted pupils and scholars from Sri Lanka, Korea, Japan, China, Tibet, Indonesia, Persia, and Turkey. In 2014, the modern Nalanda University was launched in nearby Rajgir. Taxila or Takshashila in ancient India was an early Hindu and Buddhist center of learning. According to scattered references that were only fixed a millennium later, it may have dated back to at least the 5th century BC. Some scholars date Takshashila's existence back to the 6th century BC. The school consisted of several monasteries without large dormitories or lecture halls where the religious instruction was most likely still provided on an individualistic basis. Takshashila is described in some detail in later Jataka tales written in Sri Lanka around the 5th century AD. It became a noted center of learning at least several centuries BC, and continued to attract students until the destruction of the city in the 5th century AD. Takshashila is perhaps best known because of its association with Chanakya. The famous treatise Arthashastra by Chanakya is said to have been composed in Takshashila itself. Chanakya, the Maurya Emperor Chandragupta, and the Ayurvedic healer Karika studied at Taxila. Generally, a student entered Takshashila at the age of 16. The Vedas and the 18 arts, which included skills such as archery, hunting, and elephant law, were taught, in addition to its law school, medical school, and school of military science. Other further centers include Telhara in Bihar, Odantapuri in Bihar, Somapura in Bangladesh, Sharadapith, Pakistan, Jagadala in Bengal, Nagarjunakonda in Andhra Pradesh, Vikramashila in Bihar, Valapi in Gujarat, Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu, Manyaketa in Karnataka, Mahavihara, Abhayagiri Vihara, and Jetavanaramaya in Sri Lanka. East Asia. In China, the ancient imperial academy known as Taizu was established by the Han dynasty in AD 3. It was intermittently inherited by later dynasties until Qing, in some of which the name was changed to Guozhikui or Guozijian. Peking University, established in 1898, is regarded as the replacement of Taizhou. In Korea, Taik was founded in 372 and Gakik was established in 682. The Seonggunwon was founded by the Joseon dynasty in 1398 to offer prayers and memorials to Confucius and his disciples, and to promote the study of the Confucian canon. It was the successor to Gakyagram from the Goryeo dynasty. It was reopened as a private Western-style university in 1946. In Japan, Daigakyo was founded in 671 and Ashikaga Gakko was founded in the 9th century and restored in 1432. In Vietnam, the Quoc Tu Jam functioned for more than 700 years, from 1076 to 1779. Ancient Persia, the Academy of Gundashapur was established in the 3rd century AD under the rule of Sassanid kings and continued its scholarly activities up to 4 centuries after Islam came to Iran. It was an important medical center of the 6th and 7th centuries and a prominent example of higher education model in pre-Islam Iran. When the Platonic Academy in Athens was closed in 529, some of its pagan scholars went to Gundashapur, although they returned within a year to Byzantium.